Um, anyway, shoutouts and callouts for this week. I didn't really have necessarily a great one, so this is just kind of from my what I experienced today and filming this on Sunday. All I did today was watch playoff football, so it's going to be from that. Um, but no, I one of the games I watched today was Packers Eagles, and one of the funniest just images on the sideline of that Packers Eagles game, and there was a perfectly good explanation for it. I just think it looks kind of funny, and I think it's awesome that he was doing this anyways. But my shout out goes to AJ Brown, who just in the middle of the third quarter of the Eagles game was just chilling and reading a book on the sideline. Yeah, there he is. He's just getting lost in it. I think it's just a really funny sight to see.
It looks like he's got like a very interested face, like something really dramatic just happened as well. If you look, like he's kind of making that face.
It's a real page turner. It's like, yeah, the playoffs are going on in front of him, but he can't turn away from his book, and I think that's awesome. Personally, yeah, there is a little bit more of an explanation to it. He talked about it in his post game press conference, I believe. And basically, it's like a motivational book. People were like sleuthing down what book it was, and I don't remember what the title was or anything. But basically, oh here I have it here. Here's what he said. He said, "It gives me a sense of peace. That's the book I bring in every single game. My teammates call it the recipe. That's the first time I heard y'all got me on camera, but it's not the first game. It's got a lot of points in there. It's a lot of mental game, a lot of mental parts about it. Works for me. It's something like how I refresh every drive." And so, yeah, the book was called Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy. So, I mean, again, when you read the explanation, it makes a lot more sense. Just getting himself kind of refocused on the game. But he gets my shout out for nothing else than just having the image of him being really seemingly engrossed in a novel on the sideline of a playoff game. And I think that's funny.
Yeah. No, I that is a good shout out. It's a funny idea. I personally wish that he just like after the game it came out and just like, so what were you reading there? Oh, Harry Potter. Really into the third book. Like never read it before. Don't know how. That would have made it just that much better. But
Yeah.
my shout out for this week is from the Circle K Classic, which I worked. Probably, I this is my second year calling it now, and this is probably, I imagine if I do it for another 10 years, I don't know if I'll get another story quite like this one, to be honest with you. It's just insane. But, Caleb, I don't know if you've heard the name Maddox Schultz being thrown around. No. So he is the biggest prospect kind of in that year. I think it's 09 at this point, maybe? I don't remember what year he's born, but he's the biggest prospect in his year by far. He's currently up to get what's the word? Get into the WHL at 15. I forget what the actual
exceptional status.
There you had it. He's up for exceptional
like the guy you watched last year, Landon DuPont.
So DuPont was also really special in this tournament, but I can't say he ever had a moment quite like this. I don't remember what team he was playing anymore, but it's almost irrelevant. His squad, which was the Regina Pat Canadians that he was playing on, was down like 2 or 3 goals going into the third period. They battled all the way back, and with about 10 seconds left in the third, they were down by a goal. And Maddox Schultz was able to pound in the final shot of the game with like 0.1 on the clock to tie it, and then scored the OT winner. Had 4 goals in the game, and the stream went down. And the biggest worry from everybody in the building was suddenly, holy fuck, this is a generational moment for this kid who's going to go on and have a 20-year NHL career, and the biggest moment of his career so far might not have been captured. I go down into the scout room, and I see one of the videographers who was who was working that day, and I walk up to him, and the first thing, I don't even introduce myself, I just walk up to him and just go, "Did you get that last goal?" And it turned out that he did. He was the only person who actually was able to capture this like final. He got not only the tying goal with like 0.1 on the clock, but the OT winner. So they actually,
Wow.
it's funny. We were making jokes in the room. Obviously jokes. This is obviously not what happened. Of maybe lose that card and bring it back up in another 10 years. But no, obviously can't do that. They ended up posting it. Incredible footage by him. Like, holy crap. But yeah, that's the OT winner. Just an insane shot from the top of the slot. Just not shit for him. The whole team goes nuts. And I know the guy who was calling the game, and he was kind of pissed about it afterwards as well, because he said he had a really good call on the goal, and I'm sure he did. But so it's a bit unfortunate for him, because that would have been one that probably would have gotten him on TSN. I think he got on TSN anyways, because I think there was some stuff on Maddox Schultz posted at the time. But still very cool. I can say from the eye test, he definitely lives up to all the hype. He's a pretty incredible forward. He's a very, very large 15-year-old. He does not look 15. He skates around.
I was going to say.
Nothing. Yeah, Landon DuPont looked like a 15-year-old. The only difference is he had wheels. He had some of the best skating I think I've ever seen. Maddox Schultz, he's a 15-year-old where, like, if you had told me, like, with the helmet on, you can't see his face, that kid was 18, I would have believed you. Like, he plays like it. He's 5'10", so, I mean, he's a little on the shorter side, but, again,
he's
15
taller
years
than
old.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, 15. For a center. For a center, he's a bit on the shorter side. Same complaints as Connor Bedard. But, I think, I don't know. He's going to be pretty special. I was definitely felt pretty privileged to be able to... I didn't get to watch that live, actually. I was calling a game on the other rink at Max Bell, so I was pretty bummed about that. I'm happy he caught it, though, because otherwise, that would have just been lost in the ether. So, I think it's a cool story. I think it's absolutely insane that of all times in the weekend for the stream of the game to go down, it was right at the end.
That's
missing
really rough.
both, and they couldn't get it back up in time for the OT winner either, so they missed both. I mean, just absolutely insane catch. I was talking to him as well, and he said that he was over at the game that I was calling, and then he heard that it was the end of the third period, so he decided to walk over. And literally the shift before that third period goal, he pulls out his camera and starts recording. So he only barely caught it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's...
Wow.
So I don't know. I think that's probably one of the crazier stories I've heard out of the tournament. It's a fucking awesome tournament to watch. But, because, I mean, the best part about it is the fact that 5 years down the road, I'm going to look at my roster sheets and go, oh, hey, that guy's in the draft this year. So that part's probably the coolest part. And this Maddox Schultz guy, watch out for him. He's going to be good. If, Caleb, you said you didn't know who he is. I don't know how well known he is, I guess, in the hockey community as a whole. But, if you haven't looked this kid up, I'd look him up. I'd watch the highlights.
Because I know you did this last year too, and I remember that was also the first time I heard of Landon DuPont, and then immediately after we did a whole segment on him, and he got exceptional status, and
and now he's kicking ass.
Keeps picking up from there. So, I mean, I feel like at least having your contact through doing that, I guess the inside scoop
at this point,
on the net.
I don't know if it's an inside scoop. I think the Circle K Classic at this point is pretty well known for that. It's almost like it was the first time we'd heard of a few guys, cough cough, Sidney Crosby. But I don't know. There's a lot of me that come out of it.
A fan who doesn't watch much past the NHL aside from the occasional World Juniors game or two. I consider this insider information.
Yeah, there you go. I guess the backstory behind that video footage I think is really interesting. I think it's so cool.
That's really cool.
That's absolutely the clip of the entire tournament. Like
oh yeah, for sure.
And he fucking killed it on the shooting too. like the whole thing around it is absolutely incredible. So yeah, that's my shout out for this week. There you go.
Speaking of exceptional status, we can talk about one last thing that's exceptional before we close the podcast, and not just exceptional, but transcendent. And I mean, to kind of like jump in a little bit here, we have kind of been AWOL during some of the most foundational days in trick play history, as our I don't even know how to describe him at this point. The indescribable, incomparable Michael Penix has finally got the chance to start. His season ended, but he was still spectacular, and his play on the field was great. He's Atlanta's quarterback of the future, and I can't wait to watch him for 10 to 15 more years. But you know what else I can't wait to watch for 10 to 15 more years? It's not just his play. It's the thing that's even more exceptional about him, and that is his warm ass. And with that, Penix better have a warm ass. You better keep it warm, buddy, because you're not on the bench